What's up everybody, and welcome to the channel Flash 001 USA. Today's Monday. It's June the 3rd, the year is 2024, and the time is around 11:30 a.m. here. Now this is going to be our first garden video of the season, and for me this has become somewhat of an unofficial tradition that I've started doing a couple of years back. Normally I would get out of here a little bit earlier just as the stuff was starting to come out of the ground, but we got a little bit of a late start this year, but not a problem. What I'm going to do right now is I'm going to pause the camera, pull it off the tripod, and we're just going to take a quick walk around. I'm going to let you guys see what we got going on this year. Now for some of you that have kept up with these videos, I have made some changes in the layout. You'll probably pick up on it. If nothing else, I'll mention it as we do the walk around. So take a standby while I get the camera off the tripod. Okay, starting with the corn, it's doing really well. It's actually way ahead of the game as far as the height of it and how far it's grown at this point in the growing season. Not only that, let me show you something here, if I can get over here. Okay, it's already getting ready to put up its pollinators, so it's well ahead of the game. This stuff is over 4 feet tall, and our hot weather really hadn't begun yet. Now I always grow it in the same area every year, and the corn, it likes a lot of nitrogen. So every year, especially after the corn has been taken down, I'm still cutting grass quite a few times, and I'll take all my lawn clippings and other stuff and I'll put it in here. I'll plow it in, add extra soil to it, and build it back up for the next growing season. So I've always had good luck with the corn growing it here. Now normally here I would be growing green beans, and I changed gears. This time we put out black-eyed peas. So I'm going to try my hand at these. I think these are pretty much a hot weather plant. They're good and dark and green, but it looks like they're just now starting to take off, kind of like the okra does. And speaking of, the okra's doing good, and just a heads up, you don't have to have a lot of okra put out. The main thing to do is just make sure you got space between the plants, and once again have your soil beds ready. And this 7 or 8 plants that are sitting right here, this will put out more okra than we can eat. It's like a machine gun. Once it takes off and the heat hits it, it'll just spit out okra non-stop all the way until you get the first frost. And this right here kept us pretty much fed as far as having okra on the table whenever we wanted the whole season. And we put a bunch of it back in the freezer, so we did good with that. The cantaloupe's doing good, and we've already got baby cantaloupes here. They're about the size of peas, maybe a little bit bigger, but you can see that everything's flowering. So I've always had good luck growing cantaloupe. So that's for cantaloupe right here. Now, I did grow green beans, and this is where I changed up the layout of the garden. I added another bed here. Got the green beans growing here, and it looks like a kudzu patch. These things are kicking, and I don't know if you can see it. Maybe I can reach over here, but this is starting to flower, so that means we're going to be having beans here very quickly. And I got to tell you, nothing better than having homegrown beans and stir frying them. Man, that's some great eating right there. But yeah, that's doing good, so couldn't be happier with that. This year I put out twice as many potatoes that I did last year, and I actually put out more than twice as many. Last year I think I put out 4 boxes. This time I put out 10 boxes. So they're doing good. They're actually taking off, and they're flowering too, so that's a good sign right there. And I've actually got to get in here and hill them a little bit more, which means I'm just going to add more soil and get it up to the tops of the boxes, and then just let them do their thing. Now we're over here to the sweet potatoes, and boy do I have a story about this. Alright, they're just now starting to run. The heat is starting to make these guys pick up, and I got to hill these up too. That's why I started them way down at the bottom, and as they start to grow up I'm going to add more soil to it until eventually it's about right up to about here, maybe an inch below this lip right here. And the deeper the roots go, the more sweet potatoes you're going to get, because you want them to run all through your growing area, whatever it is. And now here's the story. Last year I started sweet potatoes from something that I bought from Walmart. I just got some organic sweet potatoes, And for those of you that seen the video, you've seen what I did. Well, we grew so many sweet potatoes, and I hope when I tell you this that you're sitting down. I had 2 full wheelbarrows of sweet potatoes. I was giving them away to neighbors, to friends, anybody that could eat them. We had so many sweet potatoes, it was ridiculous. And we ate on them and still are eating on them right now. We got more than we know what to do with. But I've got a room set up in the house where they can cure. Now, people don't know this about sweet potatoes, but once they're grown, you need to put them someplace warm and kind of cover them up. And what happens is, I guess they go through a change or a process where the sugars, they get, I don't know what breaks down in or what happens, but they take on a really good flavor. As if you just dig them up and eat them, they're going to have a starchy flavor to them. But once they sit up, they'll actually take on a nice sweet flavor and a good aroma to them too. So basically what I did this year, because we had so many sweet potatoes and I had them in the room, we just left them in the room and would pull them out and eat them as we wanted them. Well, they all shot all these shoots and sprouts up off of them. So I made up like, I don't know, maybe 50, 60 sprouts and just put them inside these containers right here. This time I'm only running a little bit less than half of what I did, or maybe, no, I take that back. I ran 5 of these, so I'm only doing 3 this year. But basically what I did, and I'll show you, I've got some leftovers here. So I went and cut the sprouts off of the sweet potatoes and I just rooted them in plastic red cups. I wound up giving a bunch of them away. I gave probably, oh God, I don't know, at least 30 or 40 plants away, and what I didn't use in here for this. So that's where things stand right now. Okay, one more thing that's different from last year is we're growing onions. These are red onions. They're doing really good, so I wanted to go ahead and put a bed of onions out this year and try my hands at this. Now, last year I did it on a Mickey Mouse tiny scale, but I had tried my hand at growing some garlic. So this time around, I made a garlic bed and it's doing really good. But the only thing I think is that I need more of a hot weather variety. So next time I do this, I'll grow it with a different variety. But yeah, they're still doing good regardless. And there's going to be a good turn off on this right here. It's going to have a lot of garlic. Even got some up here on the porch. Because I had so many, I started so many that I didn't want to waste any of it. I gave a lot of this stuff away when I got it started, but this is what I have right here on the porch. And this is pretty much it, guys. So it's doing really good so far. Now there's a takeaway with this, and you can take what I'm going to tell you with a grain of salt, or you can take it seriously. Look at what's going on with the economy right now. Look at what's going on with these buffoons. It's not just one party, it's all of them. All of these buffoons and what they're doing to this country. And they're attacking the farmers, they're attacking everything. Now, you know, I'm not going to get into what I think they're doing or why they're doing it, at least not on this video, but I'm going to tell you right now, you need to be growing. You need, even if you've got a small yard, you can do a victory garden. And growing gardens like this where you do not have to till, there's not much work into it. What there is, it's more time consuming. But you can do an above ground garden. That's basically what I've got right here. And this is so cheap the way I've done it. Now if you go back and look at my past videos, you'll see how I made these beds up, right, these raised beds. Basically wooden stakes. I've got the kind of twine they used for hay bales, and I just ran strings around the stakes to hold everything together. Then I was able to use landscaper's cloth, which is extremely cheap, and fold that into the what I put over here, fill it full of soil, poof, you have ultra cheap raised beds. And I'm going to tell you right now, if you go to buy blocks or treated wood to do this with, unless you've got access to a bunch of it, it can get expensive. This here was literally pennies on the dollar to build these up. And normally with this cloth, I will get about 2 years out of it. And what happens is the cloth itself will start to tear and disintegrate. Now the twine doesn't. And as long as you don't break the wooden stakes, they'll hold up for a while. And if you break one, just pull it out and replace it. But I'm going to show you what one looks like that's 2 years old. So the cloth will actually poke through. I didn't change it out on this one here. I thought, man, what the hell? We'll let it run like it is. But there you go, guys. So this is our victory garden. And if you can do this, you need to be doing it, because with the buffoonery going on right now, you want to be prepared. That's why I start the videos off, these garden videos off, with that cheesy music and mentioning the Brandon years, because it's not a joke. It's not a joke at all. And as a matter of fact, everybody around me feels the same way. I know a lot of my neighbors, and like myself, they're growing their own gardens. And I think I'm going to walk to my neighbor's property over here. For some of you that would like to check it out, I'm going to walk over to the neighbor's. We're going to look at their garden. And it's possible he may be out here. If he is, I'll chunk him on the video here. I've got all these paths cut through my woods. Man, you walk out here, it's like 20 degrees cooler. It's incredible. But I got paths cut out here, and I can walk over to my neighbor's here. Now, I've given him some of those sweet potatoes. He's the one of the people that I gave sweet potato cuttings to. Now, the good thing about this is, because I know all of these people around me that are growing gardens, we all don't grow the same thing, and so we share stuff with each other. Works out really well. Man, this is peaceful out here. Hell, I even thought about putting a garden out here in this part of the property, but I think the deer would probably get to it. It's the only reason I haven't. I know he's had some problem with the animals out here on occasion. Now, he's got a large garden out here, and it's doing pretty good. Now, he's just doing it conventional. I'm going to try to keep a steady hand doing this. But he's got stuff in those barrels over there. I'm not sure what he's got growing in there. That's either sweet potatoes or something or another. And then the same thing back, if I get back to his barn over here, you see he's got containers there. So he's doing containers back there. And get back out here. I think this is potatoes and stuff over here. I'm sorry, yeah, either potatoes or tomatoes. I'm not close enough to see it. But he's got a lot out this year. Now, I was telling you about how fast the corn's doing as far as what I'm growing. So I'm going to show you something here with his. And his corn is good and green. Every bit of 1.5 feet tall, if that. So the raised bed gardens, when you do them right, they really produce. Okay, yeah, those were tomatoes. So he's got tomatoes out here. He's got hot peppers. It looks like he's going to have some sort of melons right here. I'm not sure what he's growing here. Maybe squash, I don't know. But he's got it all out here. They do this every year. And I see his green beans. He's got them in the middle of the corn. It looks like they're flowering. I can see that from here. I'm sure the camera's not picking it up. And it looks like he's got okra right through here. But he does good every year. They put back from this. So yeah, they're not hurting. So this just goes to show you that, you know, a lot of people, they do this not only as a hobby or as something they enjoy doing, but I'm seeing an uptick in it. I've also seen it when I go to the plant nurseries. They say the same thing. They're telling me that they can't keep up with the demand of people buying plants, especially new people at it. Because what they do is they go and they'll rent an acre of land somewhere, and 4 or 5 people will work that acre of land. So they can do it like a community garden. So you hear a lot of that. And a lot of these people will come up to these plant nurseries and get information about how to do it correctly. Now, I grew up around this all my life. I mean, you know, I grew up with people that were just as countrified as it gets. And they grew gardens. They did it all in City Hall, and they did more. So I was kind of ahead of the curve on that. A lot of these people are like that around here. Now, when I get out to the end of the woods here, I'm going to pause the camera because I'm not going to waste your time, and I'm going to walk up to the end of my property, and I'm going to let you see my neighbor's garden that's directly in front of me. So these people are behind me right here. But everybody gets it. Everybody gets what's going on, and it's nuts. In a lot of states, they're going after the small farmers to shut them down. You got to ask yourself a question. Why is it that all of these these chicken coop places and these cattle places, all this stuff is burning down. Why is it these food processing plants are burning down? I'm sorry, I can see 1 or 2 burning down, but when it starts going to the point that you're losing them every week, and then you have political figures coming in there and, you know, shutting stuff down. And, you know, I already knew Bill Gates was a doctor. I think a lot of us knew Bill Gates was a doctor, but I didn't know that he was a farmer. Damn, for a city boy, he does really good, doesn't he? He's one of the biggest landowners in the country. Ain't that something? Isn't that something? And isn't it something that all these people are, their money is being used as a weapon to shut everybody else down? Isn't that something? Yeah, that's something to think about. And that's why I'm doing what I'm doing right here with my gardening. On that note, I'm going to pause out. We're going to take one more look at somebody else's garden here, and I'll come back on when we get over there. Okay, now this is my neighbor across the street from me. Every year they grow gardens. They got a good bit out here also. I would walk across the street and walk over there, but without him being home, I'm not going to do that, just for the obvious reasons. So the point is, my neighbors all around me, and this is just scratching the surface right here, but my neighbors all around me are growing gardens. And they're saying the same thing that I'm saying. So when we run into each other and we're speaking, everybody's on the same page. Now, being where I live, now metaphorically, I'm speaking here, but I live around a bunch of people that have long beards with whiskey dripping out of them, and they know what's going on. They're the kind of people that'll shoot first, and they might ask questions later. I couldn't tell you that they would. But yeah, they're very well aware that not only was Bill Gates a genius, just a very stable genius when it came to building computers, but hell, I didn't know that he was a medical doctor, neither did they. And not only that, he's a farmer now. Yeah, these are the same people that will convince you that open borders is a good thing, and they'll tell you, hey, 2 men can't have a baby. We got a problem in this country. People are going to figure it out really quickly, and the closer we get to this next election cycle, I think we're in trouble. That's why I've been preparing. That's why I did all the gasifier videos, did everything that I've been doing through the years. And there's the movie star cat. She's talking to me here. She's in about every video that I've got. It's kind of funny. She's walking over here to me. Hey, sweetie, come here. Yeah, that's right. Man, she's been here for a while. She's a stray that showed up, and you know how it is with cats. They adopt you, you don't adopt them. But yeah, going back to the gardening stuff, guys. You need to be getting ready. And even if you can't put a garden or anything up this year, put you some dried goods up. Get prepared. Have a contingency plan put into place. Know some of your neighbors. Know who you're dealing with. I'm telling you that things, they're not looking good right now. And we got bad people, very bad people, very dangerous people that have hijacked our system. And I'm holding my breath, and I know a lot of people are also. Now, I've been preparing for years, and I'm good to go here. You know, just like these neighbors of mine that have whiskey dripping from their beards. They shoot first and ask questions later. And if things start to get ugly, that's what's going to probably happen across the country. Now, something to think about. What happens when the infrastructure goes away? When there's no food, no fuel, you're going to have good people that are going to be starving, and they're going to be out to get whatever they can get, and they don't care who they get it from. They're going to do it in the name of, you know, trying to feed their children, trying to feed themselves, trying to do whatever. At least way out here in the boondocks where I'm at, I can get rabbits, I can get deer. Pretty much anything that I need meat-wise, I can find it out here. And I definitely can grow gardens with the best of them. So the thing I'm telling you is, leave all your options on the table open, put you some stuff back, be prepared, get ready for everything. This is the whole reason I did all of the gasifier videos years ago. That was the whole reasoning behind it. That's kind of the reason I've been sharing the garden videos. Just, letting people see that, yeah, you can do this yourself. So on that note, enough of me preaching and bitching and everything else here. Cheerios.